Baik Petukuo Jobrin Suka. 4 pupils of the early childcare session of Migrant Framers Children's School MFCS Agwibaya, Enugu Ezeke, Igbo is North Local Government Area of Enugu State, aged between 5 and 6, have been allegedly defiled by the headmaster. The incident, which occurred on July 17, 3 days to the end of academic session for the pupils, has angered members of the community who described it as an abomination and desecration of the customs and traditions of the community, adding that nothing like that had ever happened before. Investigations by our reporter revealed that the headmaster had lured the students into a nearby bush close to the school with the promise of giving each of them first-class positions after the term's examinations and buying gifts for them before defiling them. The alleged defilement was found out by the mother of one of the pupils, who saw bloodstains on the pupil's vagina and decided to know what happened. Upon interrogation, the pupil, Ifeoma, not real name, told her mother what happened, how her headmaster had lured them into the bush and started inserting his fingers in the private organs, promising to buy them gifts and award them top positions in their classes ahead of the mates. The pupil said the headmaster had approached her and asked her to enter his motorcycle, but she refused before he approached her 3 other classmates and told them that he would give them first positions and buy them gifts before they accepted to follow him. After her friends had accepted the offer, the headmaster yet again approached her and told her that if she refused to follow them, that he would not give her first position in class. That was when she succumbed to his antics and followed him. She further said immediately they were inside the bush, the headmaster started having carnal knowledge of them by inserting his fingers in the sexual organs, which made her to develop pains around the region. After he had finished performing the act, the headmaster brought all of them back to the school with his motorcycle before, yet again, taking Ifeoma back to the same location where he had defiled them and continued the acts all over again. When he had satisfied his sexual desires, he brought her back to the school where he had dropped her classmates and left. It was further gathered that after committing the act and sensing trouble, the head teacher connived with the leader of the neighborhood watch in the community to perfect his escape from angry mob who had started a search for him. Medical tests conducted on the pupils by the parents showed evidence of penetration. To further conceal the truth, the neighborhood watch came to the hospital where the tests was conducted and took away the results. "I was not around because I went to the farm and was told what happened when I came back," said Remigius Attar, the father of one of the pupils who was defiled by the headmaster. "I was told that my child came back from school and was complaining to her mother that her private part was hurting her because of what the headmaster had done to them," he said, looking emotionally disturbed. He continued, "So when her mother drew her closer to examine, she saw bloodstains in her underwear. My child said they were 4 who were taken to the bush by the headmaster and defiled them separately, but hers is hurting her so much that she was crying," he told our reporter. Attar said after being told what the headmaster had done to his child, he entered his motorcycle and headed to the home of one of the 2 teachers who assists the headmaster in the school to know what transpired. "When I got to her house, she said she was not in school when the headmaster committed the act. I immediately left there and went to the home of the other teacher named Mary Ida and told her everything. She was shocked and followed me to the school, but when we got there, nobody was around and she called the headmaster on phone but he was not picking up. We started looking for the man but he had escaped. We now went to the neighborhood watch to report the matter," he narrated. Following a tip-off, Vanguard visited the community where the incident happened. A community leader who preferred not to be named in the story said, "I was in my house when I got a phone call from my wife's cousin, Nibosai. She was crying and told me that her child, who was one of the victims, is bleeding and almost dying. She said that the headmaster of the school lured her child inside the bush alongside 3 others and defiled them. She said he used his finger to penetrate and defiled them and that they were bleeding, he said, looking downcast. According to her, the child told her that the man had promised the pupils that if they allowed him to finger them, all of them would take first position in their class. The children didn't know what the man was up to until it started happening, he said. He further said that when he heard the story, he went straight to the particular village where it happened to find out the extent to which the matter had gone. They told me that the matter was taken to the chairman of the neighborhood watch, Jude Urama. On inquiry, they said the man in question, Nathaniel Idoko, was brought there by the neighborhood chairman of a bordering village who served as his surety and took him back without questioning or interrogation. So I became surprised and asked the chairman how he is moving on with the case, and he got angry and asked what brought me into the matter, he said. He said after the neighborhood chairman had said that, he sensed foul play and ran to the police immediately to make an official report, but their efforts at arresting the man was not successful. The police swung into action immediately, but their efforts to get the man proved abortive. Several invitation letters were sent to produce the neighborhood chairman at Agwibaya, who is obviously conniving with the accused, proved abortive. Now, the police in charge of the case at Igbo's North LGA called me and told me that they have made efforts, but the matter was again reported by the suspect to Adenu Area Command Office and that the area commander had directed him to transfer the case filed to them even when he had not finished his investigation or made any arrest in the matter as expected. The DPO himself went to the community when he discovered the connivance between the headmaster and the neighborhood chairman. Instead of taking the matter to the police, the chairman wants to suppress the case, he said. He said the headmaster, despite the invitation letter by the police, is still walking freely and no arrest warrant has been issued to bring him over for interrogation, prompting him to assume that the matter is being swept under the carpet. To further seek justice for the pupils, the community leader, undeterred, traveled to Enugu to explore other options with NGOs and child rights groups to ensure that the perpetrator is arrested and prosecuted. After he visited the Women Aid Collective Wako and launched a complaint, the group petitioned the chairman, Enugu State Universal Basic Education Board, ENSUBEB, Ikeji Asogwa, and the Enugu State Police Commissioner, CP Muhammad Dan Melim. A petition titled Letter of Intervention addressed to the duo, the group said, "We write you with respect to a sad report that we received from a community called Agwibaya in Enugu Ezeke, Igbo is North LGA of Enugu State." According to the report, one Nathaniel Idoko, male, and the headmaster, migrant, MFCS school at Agwibaya Enugu Ezeke in Igbo is North LGA of Enugu State, was reported to have forcefully obtained carnal knowledge of four underage female pupils below the age of 6 years. The incident allegedly took place on the 17th of July 2017, in the office of the said Mr. Nathaniel Idoko. The said headmaster allegedly used his fingers to perform sexual activities to the vagina of these innocent pupils, thereby deflowering them in the process, it read. Part of the petition corroborated the assumption that the neighborhood chairman might have connived with the headmaster to perfect his escape. Meanwhile, the neighborhood watch chairman Agwibaya, Mr. Jude Urama alias 2PAC, is reported to have disappeared since the incident after allegedly collecting money from Nathaniel Idoko to aid his escape. The petition further said, again, our informant, a community leader in Agwibaya, shared with us how himself and one of the victim's father, Ezugu John and Osiju, reported the incident to the divisional police in Igbo is North LGA Enugu State. The police could not do much as at the time of this report, because the suspect and the neighborhood chairman are nowhere to be found. The latest report is that the suspect has approached the area commander in Adenu, who is now calling for the case file in the matter, which is with the DPO in Igbo's North, and which files investigation has not commenced at all. We sense foul play and therefore humbly and kindly urge you to use your good office to investigate the matter, the petition read. The community leader also told this reporter that, since I started this journey of seeking justice for the pupils, I have received threats from the neighborhood chairman and his boys. I made the threat known to the police, on the allegations that the head teacher might have defiled the pupils for ritual purposes. He said, the offender that committed this crime, for him to have done this, we don't know if he is a ritualist. We have heard stories that all these ritualists use blood for the sacrifice, so we don't know what this man had in mind in defiling the pupils. When our reporter reached out to the headmaster of the school for comments, his phone line rang several times but he was not picking up. When subsequent calls were put through by this reporter, the suspect picked the call, and when he heard the word journalist during formal introduction, he dropped the call and his line became switched off immediately. This reporter followed up with phone texts but none was replied. The police public relations officer, PPRO in the state, SP Eberi Amarazu, confirmed the incident when contacted and said a thorough investigation into the incident had commenced, promising that the suspect would be charged accordingly if found guilty.